When you experience something challenging, who was there for you? Do you wish you had said thank you to someone who changed your life and maybe you never did? Or maybe you're at a place in your life that you had never planned being at. Well, if any of those are you, don't go anywhere because today I'm telling the story that I never thought I would tell on day one. And it just might be the exact thing you need to hear to finally start saying yes to yourself and to a life of possibilities. Welcome to the Say Yes Experience podcast. I'm Jessica Rector. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. We're all about diving into how to get out of your comfort zone and into possibilities to help you create a life that you absolutely love while you're also living intentionally, inviting more fun into your life, stretching you outside of what you think is possible to help you reach your true potential. This is day one of 100 days as Say Yes experiences. I went on this journey of doing 100 days as Say Yes experiences, and I am inviting you to join me into really unpacking and diving deep into every single one of those. We're also going to have guests throughout these 100 days as Say Yeses and bonus episodes for you as well. Now, listen, this day one wasn't the one that I actually planned. I had a completely other idea lined up, but sometimes you got to tap into that intuition, that gut, that thought that you have, and just dive into that. So today I'm saying yes to sharing a story that I haven't really thought much about over the past 12 years, but something happened 12 years ago that changed my life. And so we're talking hidden struggles, toxic workplaces, the power of vulnerability, and why it's never too late to say thank you to someone who made an absolute difference in your life, especially when you needed it most. So if you've ever felt like your life wasn't going as planned and something happened that you never expected, or that you're carrying a secret that really is heavy on you, this episode is for you. So buckle up because this is day one and it's just beginning. Let's go. Day one of 100 Days of Say Yes experiences started off completely different than I expected. I had something else planned and then I decided, nope, I had this idea, this thought that came to my head, and I said, I'm just going to go with that one because I was going with how I was specifically feeling in that moment. Now, let me backtrack a little bit before I share with you what it is. Let me backtrack about 12, actually 13 years now to a time in my life where I had met this guy that I thought was a really great guy. Now, as you might know, when you meet someone, you're really showing the best parts of yourself to that person, and they're showing you the best parts of themselves. So as we got to know each other and started letting down the walls and truly allowing each other to see who we were, there were just parts of him that were being revealed to me that didn't line up to who I was or really who I wanted to be and what I wanted in life moving forward. And so I broke up with him. And 3 days later, I found out I was pregnant. Surprise! Well, this threw me into a complete state of shock. In fact, I told a couple of friends and my family, and outside of that, I didn't tell anybody. I did tell the guy the day I found out, and he said, well, you got what you wanted, a baby and no guy. And I said, yeah, that's every girl's dream. And he said, well, we're going to have to get married because I'm not having a baby out of wedlock. And I said, well, it's a good thing you're not having the baby. After he and I had some additional conversations, I just realized that he wasn't what I was looking for in a long-term partner. And so we went our separate ways because he said, if I can't have you, I don't want the baby. So there I was feeling alone, scared, pregnant, There was no happy social media posts or beautiful gender revealing parties. Outside of my family and a couple of friends, I didn't really tell anybody about it. And as the months went by, I just started having these thoughts of how did this happen? Why did this happen? What is now going to come of my career and the life that I had planned? Because I had these really big goals and dreams and plans for my life, and this wasn't part of it. And so I felt myself asking all these questions. And the more I asked myself these questions, the sadder I became, the more I realized that what I was thinking life was going to be like didn't turn out that way at all. And up until this point, I'd led a really great life. I was traveling, getting college degrees. I had 3 at the time, and it was only me and my responsibilities and what I wanted to do. And this wasn't part of that journey. I always thought I'd get married and then have kids. And so this one thing really took a domino effect because all those questions that I started asking myself started becoming my reality. Because what started happening is, how did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Became I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Now I'm going to have to go get a job, and I'm going to hate getting a job and working for somebody else. And all these great career plans that I had for myself are just blown up in smoke. And, I started thinking of all the negative things that were now going to impact my life, that I wasn't going to be able to do the things I wanted and in the way that I wanted. And like all this negative thoughts started really taking over my life. And that became the story that I continually told myself throughout the pregnancy. Now, I had a couple of really great friends who were supportive and that I could talk to about these kind of things, but many nights I went to bed sad, I went to bed disappointed, and just unsure of what the future held, of how I was going to navigate this essentially on my own. And so I was working at that time part-time in a work environment that was toxic, that was not welcoming, that was not friendly. But I'd only been there about a year, and I also didn't want to go and start somewhere else and be at the bottom because at the time I was waiting tables. I was making decent money for waiting tables. But waiting tables, if you've never been in that environment, waiting tables at most places are not healthy. They are very hostile, toxic. They don't want you to succeed or to get out. They want you to succeed, meaning to take care of the customers, but they don't want you to do so well that you leave them going somewhere else. Now, I will preface all that to say, want your event to do more than just motivate? Want it to transform? Hi, I'm Jessica Rector, CEO of the Say Yes Experience, #1 best-selling author, and the keynote speaker and experience creator companies call when they're serious about change. I don't just speak, I'm known to move people. From the main stage to custom Say Yes Experience team building events, your group will crush comfort zones, ignite connection, and fuel mental wellness and peak potential, all while having the kind of fun that actually sticks. Whether it's a leadership summit, company offsite, or all hands meeting, we bring immersive, energizing experiences that unlock what's next for your people and business. So if you're ready to ditch burnout and lead your team into bold action and a Say Yes culture, book me now at jessicarector.com or email me at jessica@jessicarector.com. And hey, subscribe to the Say Yes Experience podcast right here. It's where the movement starts.
You've heard of a bucket list, things you want to do before you die, right? At the Say Yes Experience, we believe in something truly more powerful, the Say Yes bucket list, the things you want to do to truly start living. It's about feeling alive, breaking out of routine, and turning someday into right now. We've created a free Say Yes bucket list template to help you get started, so you can move to ideas, to action, and start saying yes to light the things that light your fire. So don't wait to truly start living, and download your free template today.
I worked for one really amazing manager in a restaurant that I worked in California many years prior to this. That was a friendly, welcoming, amazing environment with fabulous coworkers. So not every restaurant environment is like that, but most of them that I had worked in had been that way. And it was always never from the onset. You'd always reach this certain level and certain amount of money, and then things would start to come out. And so I was in one of those environments where I didn't want to go start all over, because when you start all over in the restaurant industry, you're not making as good of money because you're not getting the best tables and the best stations. And I didn't want that. And so I was in this place that was not friendly, that was not welcoming, that coworkers were talking about you behind your back. They were not supportive or encouraging. But I had come from a previous restaurant, and there was a guy there who worked at the previous restaurant with me. We'll call him Brock. And so he and I knew each other, and we were co-workers for many years. And we became friendly. And I was friends with his girlfriend at the time, who then became his wife later on. And so he knew me well. And so when I found out I was pregnant, I did not want the people in my work environment to know about that. Management knew because they needed to know, I felt, for safety reasons, but my coworkers did not know because I was scared. I was scared they would talk about me behind my back, that they would be mean, that I would be living in even more shame because I was constantly in a state of shame, trying to hide this secret that I didn't want people to find out about. And so I didn't tell people, but I told Brock because I felt like I needed a support system. I needed someone who could look out for me if I needed it in the work environment, again, just for safety reasons, or if I needed help, if something came up, if I was feeling sick, then I needed to go to the bathroom and I needed someone to watch my tables, that kind of stuff. So he became that ally, that friend in that environment. And now throughout the whole work environment, I didn't tell anyone I was pregnant. Now, I was 7 months pregnant, and Brock came up to me one night and said, "Cat's out of the bag." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, there was this coworker that we had that was married and had 4 kids. He's noticed that you have a different pair of pants that you're wearing," because, I needed a different pair of pants because I was starting to grow. The baby was at 7 months, so I needed maternity pants, and because I was starting to waddle a little bit when I walked. And so he's noticed that. So what happened is he told one person, they had this little meeting, if you will, in this space, all the guys did, and they were talking about it, and it came out. And I said, when they confronted me, I said, "Yes, I am." But it was amazing to have Brock really champion and support me, look out for me like that. And if I needed anything throughout my pregnancy at work, he was always there to help me. I could chat with him about stuff. And it was just freeing to have that in an environment that was not supportive. And so on day one of Say Yes experiences, my 100 days of Say Yes experiences, I had this idea that came to me, and I was just walking through my living room, and I asked myself, wait, did I ever thank Brock for being there, for showing up, for being supportive, for being someone that I could rely on and depend on? And I wasn't sure if I had. So instead of the day one that I had planned, I actually reached out to Brock and messaged him and just said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for helping me through one of the most challenging times of my life when I needed you most." And I just sent him this message of appreciation and how important it was that he was there and that he saw me, he heard me, and how much of a difference it made in my life. And he messaged me back and said, "What made you think of that?" Because again, it was basically almost 13 years ago that this happened. I said, "I don't know, it just popped in my head." And I wondered, did I ever thank him? And did I ever like properly tell him the impact and the difference that it made? And he said, "You're welcome. You were always a great companion and support for me as well." And that environment was not supportive and friendly at all. So I loved that he messaged back saying, "Oh my gosh, yes, that you're welcome." And he said, "I'm happy and glad that it made a difference." And it made such a massive difference. So there are people in your life showing up right now that are making a difference, that they're your support system. How often are you saying thank you to them? Because maybe they don't realize the impact and the difference that they're making because they're just showing up as them, right? As their best self, but yet it's exactly what you need at this moment in time when you need it most. So they're showing up as their best self, helping you. And maybe you reaching out saying thank you, no matter how much time has passed, right? There's no deadline on saying thank you, and there's no timeline on it. So, no matter how much time has passed, even if you said it before, who can you thank right now for them being there for you when you need them most? And I want you to think of the power of just one person, one ally in your life, and how one ally can really help you through the most challenging, difficult struggle that you've ever encountered. Someone who's showing up, someone who's hearing you, who's seeing you, who's being that support for you. Because maybe it's not getting through the day. Maybe it's about getting through the hour or this moment in time. Because sometimes we're facing those challenges and those issues and struggles. It's not about, can I just get through the day? It's about, can I just get through this moment? This one moment that's hurtful, that's painful, that is making me swirl, that you're sitting in and you don't know how to get out of, because sometimes it's just that one person, that one conversation, that one moment spent in silence that can make the big impact to you, that can give you the motivation, the inspiration, the empowerment to move forward. And sometimes, lots of times, that's what we need most. Now, Brock wasn't looking for anything. And when I was even writing the message to him, I started crying, like mad crying. Why? Because it was a painful moment for me to go back these 12, 13 years to relive that time in my life that I thought I'd healed, that I thought I'd processed, that I thought I'd moved past, and I have. But reaching back into that to thank him took courage. And so just because you've healed, processed, moved past something doesn't mean you can't revisit it to thank someone, to let someone know the difference that they've made in your life. Because maybe right now they are going through a struggle, they're going through a challenge. They want someone to say thank you so they feel like that they mattered, that they're valued, that they're making a difference in some way. And so, where is it in your life that you can reach out to someone, no matter how much time has passed, and thank them? Even if you've thanked them before, to thank them again for helping you through a challenging moment or time or period. Because one ally can make such a massive difference to us just making it through this 1 minute. Delayed gratitude is super powerful. Now, of course, like I mentioned, Brock said, okay, what made you think of this? And so he was kind of like, this kind of came out of the blue so many years later. But it's easy when a lot of time has passed, especially, it's easy to say, okay, they know how much I appreciate them. Or too much time has passed. I'd be really embarrassed to reach out and say thank you. And so you just don't want to do it. But there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Now is the perfect time to reach out. Anytime is the perfect time to reach out and thank someone, because no matter how much time has passed, think of how you would feel if someone reached out to you and said thank you, completely out of the blue when you least expect it. It's almost as though that makes a bigger difference than when you expect them to say thank you. So saying thank you lets them know how much you appreciate them, and they recognize they're valued and that they matter, and the impact that they continue to make just by them showing up as their best self. So let's pack a few other things that I had mentioned whenever I'd shared that story. Now, my day one of 100 Days of Say Yes experiences was reaching out and thanking Brock. But it also, when I dipped into that and went back to all those feelings and emotions and the time of challenge that I was going through, lots of other things kind of revealed themselves again to me as well. So I was so engulfed in shame that I wasn't even recognizing it and seeing it as shame. It actually took me months later. I was at an event and I saw someone who was an acquaintance, a Facebook friend, and she said, wait, I just overheard you talking to that person. Did you say you had a baby? Now, at this time, my son was about 3 months old. I said, I do. And she said, what? I never even knew you were pregnant. I've never seen a single social media post about your baby. And I said, I know. So I was sharing with her the challenge and the struggle that I went through emotionally and mentally through my pregnancy. And she said, Jessica, post about your baby. We want to support you. We want to know about your baby. We love you and we care about you. We want to cheer you on. And that never occurred to me because during my pregnancy, I was so engulfed in the what ifs. I was so engulfed in the negative thinking. I was so engulfed in creating this negative story for myself that I couldn't see through that to see the positive things that may come from this. I couldn't see that people would support me or love me or care about me, not in spite of it, but because of it. Because up until that point, I was only posting on social media about all the amazing, perfect, incredible things going on in life. You know, as you see so many times, people post about, oh, I'm on this vacation. Oh, I just reached this goal. This is fabulous and wonderful. I was just showing people this picture perfect version of Jessica and never showing them the struggles, the challenges, the issues, the things that arrive just in everyday life. I was tucking all that stuff away, acting like it didn't exist publicly, anyways. And so when she said that to me, it gave me a different perspective and shed so much light on my life. The Say Yes experience is a movement that helps you adapt to change, enhance mental wellness, and stretch into what's possible. We tailor every experience to your specific challenges and goals, whether that's preventing burnout, building resilience, or creating a culture of bold action and connection. Whether it's a getaway with your friends or creating something for small teams to an entire organization, this is where transformation begins. Say yes to growth. Say yes to a custom experience designed just for you. Let's build and develop your own Say Yes experience at jessicarector.com. Wish you could hit pause, catch a breath, and leave the rat race behind for a while? you can. Come check out Breakspace, a global community where mid-career professionals just like you are creating life-changing breaks every day. Founded by 2 leading break experts, this one-of-a-kind resource is your go-to for all things career break. With hands-on coaching, dynamic courses, and genuine connection, you don't have to go at it alone. Visit gobreakspace.com to learn more and join today. And the incredible thing was when I started posting about the messy, the imperfect, the challenges, that's when people started connecting with me. That's when they started saying, oh my gosh, she's just like me. Yes, I've been through something similar. Or I've thought that same thing before. Or I'm a single mom too. And again, you immediately form this bond with people who are like you, that get you, that understand, right? And being vulnerable, letting down those walls and those guards allowed me to connect with those people too. And to say, we're just alike. I love it. I'm not the only one. Because up until this point, I thought, okay, I'm the only one going through the struggle. I'm the only one trying to navigate single parenthood. I'm the only one that doesn't have all the answers to this. I'm the only one who has been spiraling in, not knowing how to figure out this thing called life. And I just felt so isolated. But the thing that was isolating me was my thoughts, all those same thoughts. And the more I had those thoughts, the more I was engulfed in shame. And the more I didn't want people to know those thoughts or the reality I was living through. So I was keeping a massive, big distance between me and everybody else. Because I was saying, nope, here I am. Nobody gets it. No one understands. I've got to come up with all the answers and figure it out on my own. And everybody's out over here. So, friend, you don't have to figure out anything alone. You don't have to, friend, you don't have to figure out anything alone. There are people out there who understand, who get it, that are just like you. Stop pretending that everything is perfect because it's not. And stop trying to live up to this expectation of what perfect is supposed to be. As soon as I let all of that stuff go, that's when I started showing up in authenticity. That's when I started being transparent. That's when I started letting people in to see really who I am. And that's when I found more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment in doing that. Not the picture perfect life that people try and aspire to, that we all have tried to live up to at one point in our life or another. When we let that go by the wayside and just show up as our true, amazing, imperfect self, that's when we're like, yes, I don't care what you think. And that was such a turning point for me when I had this conversation with this friend, because not only did I post things that were messy, that were unpleasant, that were imperfect, and I also allowed myself to truly, fully start to be seen, to truly, fully start to be heard, and to feel like I matter as me, not as in this picture perfect image that I wanted people to know or see of me. And so, how can you let down those guards? Start sharing your story, the messy, the ugly, the I don't know, I don't have all the answers or solutions. That when can you start showing up as you? Because one conversation, one ally can empower you to do that. You can also give yourself permission to do it right now. You don't need to wait for anyone else to give you permission. You don't need to have a conversation with someone that says, oh, well, maybe you can post about that, or maybe you should show pictures or tell us that. You can give yourself permission right now. And after that conversation, I started taking a deep dive, a look at how I was showing up, what I was doing, what was impacting me. And I took a deep dive into that time during my pregnancy, all the negative thoughts that I was living in and that created that story. And then it was as though I was creating that story and then looking for ways and things in life that validated that story to me. No one's going to want to hire you. You're not going to have any friends because no one's going to want to be friends with you. No one's going to understand, like all of these things. And then when I didn't connect with someone, it's like, see, I told you, no one would want to be friends with you when they didn't even know that I was pregnant. So then I looked for ways in my life that validated that story. So after that conversation with her, I took a deep dive. Where did those thoughts come from? Why did they come to be? And how can I change those thoughts? And now I keynote speak about that is one of my keynote speeches is turning your negative thoughts into positive action, as well as preventing burnout. And of course, the Say Yes experience. But all of that negative thinking in creating that keynote stemmed from this whole story that I told myself about being pregnant. So what story are you telling yourself about a situation, a challenge, an issue, a relationship, a conversation in your life that when you take a deep dive and look at, you can actually change it and reframe it and start looking for the opportunities, for the possibilities, which is what the Say Yes experience is about, right? It's about if I knew now if I knew now back then, it would look different, right? I wouldn't be living in those negative thoughts. I would be reframing it, saying, okay, this is what happened. What are the good things that can come out of this? Who can I ask for support from this? What can I do to make a positive impact on myself in the moment? And so start asking and reframing that, because when you do that, you can also really dictate the narrative of your story instead of living in the negativity of the story that you're telling yourself. And I don't want you to stay in that space because that shame, we all have shame. And we've all experienced shame at one time or another. So the shame that you may be feeling or that you once experienced is holding you back, keeping you stuck and stagnant. So when you take a deep dive into that shame, what it is, where it came from, why it's there, what is it going to take to help you move forward, you can start taking those steps and creating a different narrative and different frame of mind around what's happened and creating a different story for yourself, which is what we want. We don't want you living in that shame, living in the guilt, living in the negativity. We want you changing that into possibilities, potential, and positivity. Now, one of the biggest things I learned throughout the pregnancy and life in the past 12 years is that life doesn't go as planned. And 12 years ago, when I was pregnant, it was a huge wake up call for me because I had goals and plans for my life, and that wasn't one of them. Now, I don't know about you, but I did not know that the unplannedness, yes, I know that's not a word, but the unplannedness of life will actually lead you to something so much bigger than you had ever planned for yourself. Because my son is the world's biggest blessing, not just to me, but he is out there making a difference to so many people. Now he actually gets up on stages with me when I keynote speak. He makes an impact to the people in the audience, and he leaves them feeling empowered, inspired, and happy. He is continually creating that ripple effect. However, at the time of the pregnancy, I couldn't have predicted that. I mean, if I had it all planned out, I would have never planned that to happen. I would have never planned him being a best-selling author to 2 books at the age of 5. And how he comes up with creative, innovative ideas that helped me in business today. In fact, the Say Yes experience started because of him. So if not for him, this would never be happening. So in all the ways of life, most of life is unplanned. You can have the best goals, the best dreams, the best plan, and something happens to get it off track. And sometimes you just got to say yes, 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 yes to that, because when it goes off course, when you get thrown a curveball, you're either going to strike out, you can duck, or you can hit a grand slam. And we want you to be hitting grand slams. So when that unplannedness, that's going to be my new word, unplannedness of life happens, how are you setting yourself up for success to hit the grand slams, to hit it out of the park every single time? Because when things that are unplanned come into your life, it also helps you become more resilient. Now, it's not about bouncing back resiliency when I use that word. It's about looking at the challenge and what is something positive or good that's coming from it that can help you propel yourself forward, really creating incredible momentum and forward progress. So I want you to think of that when you're faced with challenges and uncertainty, that is an opportunity in disguise. Oftentimes we say no to those things. No, I don't like change. I don't like uncertainty. I don't like the unknown, so I'm just not going to do it. But what happens when you lean in and you start saying yes? Possibilities, potential happen, and your goals get reached, right? You're elevating your goals. You're reaching goals that you never even dreamed that you would have because you're meeting new people. You're having different conversations. It's your responsibility just to say yes to that first opportunity that presents itself. And then the next one will present itself and you say yes. And the next one and you say yes. And before you know it, you're climbing your dream, you're reaching your goal, and you're building your confidence along the way. Now, confidence doesn't come just by saying, I want to do that. It comes by taking action, going out there and doing the thing that absolutely scares you, the thing that may feel embarrassing, or maybe you are scared you're going to get rejected or fail, or it just scares you for your safety. That is going out there and just saying yes. Now, I'm not talking about like being really extreme with the safety, but meaning if you're scared of heights, how can you do something just a little bit that stretches you a little bit, right? It's not about going from here and you're scared of heights, let's go skydiving, but how can you stretch yourself just a little bit? Maybe walking across a bridge is a good one. And have that ally, that support system that's going to be there to help you and cheer you on and encourage you every step of the way.
Hey, I'm Blaze, and the SAYS experience was my idea. I created it to help my mom, Jessica Rector. When she was traveling and keynote speaking a lot and on the verge of burnout, I wanted her to say yes to herself, to joy, and to what's possible. What started out with me helping her find a new ice cream around town had turned into a movement. So together we wrote this book, The Say Yes Experience, with 52 powerful tips to help you prevent burnout, strengthen your mental health, and live intentionally. Step outside your comfort zone. One tip, one small shift, one big impact. Ready to say yes to a better you? Grab the Say Yes Experience at jessicarector.com/store.
Burnout isn't just exhaustion, it's a warning sign that something needs to change. 90% of the workforce has been in burnout in the last year alone, according to Gallup, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's even impacting the home life, but it doesn't have to be that way. In my powerful book, Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout, 52 Keys to Prevent, Breakthrough, and Beat Burnout, I show you how to take back control, reignite your energy, and transform overwhelm into opportunity. Backed by research and real-life strategies, this isn't just another self-help book. It's your guide to lasting change, mental wellness, and saying yes to the life you deserve. Ready to break the burnout cycle? Grab Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout today at jessicarector.com/store. If you want to get a copy for your team or all your employees, reach out to me directly for rates at jessica@jessicarector.com. Because confidence is not about knowing how something's going to work out. It's about saying yes and figuring out along the way. And your confidence is going to build every single step. And the cool thing about confidence, it doesn't just build here and now in this specific situation, conversation, experience. It'll actually trickle over into other aspects of your life. So you're building your confidence in this moment to impact every other area of your life too. And so day one of 100 days of Say Yes experiences also shares with you that Say Yes experiences don't have to be grand. They don't have to be super big. They can be small. It can be a text message or a message or a phone call or an invitation. Sometimes those are the powerful ones that just stretch you a little bit to help you recognize, oh, I said yes to this. What else can I say yes to? It feels a little uncomfortable to reach out to them after so long. I should have done this years ago. You can do it now. Now is the perfect time because, again, it stretches you just a little bit. The more you lean into that discomfort, the more comfortable you will get with discomfort. And the more your comfort zone actually grows, the faster you reach your potential. So, who is your Brock? Who is that ally in your life that's been there for you when you were down, when you were feeling emotional, when you just needed someone to talk to and vent to and share something with? Who is that Brock? Pick up your phone, text him, give him a call, send him a message, let him know the impact that they're making on you. And how can you be a Brock for someone else? Because there's someone in your life right now that needs you as a Brock, that needs you to be their ally, their support system, their, yes, I am going to help you through this challenging time, whether it's supporting them, whether it's listening to the situation, whether it's building a stronger relationship with them. Who can you be a Brock to? Because it's about you showing up for someone else just like someone else showed up for you. What is something that you want to say yes to, but you haven't done it yet? So whether it's skydiving, reading a book to a group of kids, or starting your own mastermind, now is the perfect time to do it. We want to hear from you. Share your Say Yes experience idea at hello@thesayyesexperience.com. We are inviting some of our amazing subscribers to be a part of our upcoming episodes of the Say Yes experience by really helping you face those fears, stepping into discomfort, saying yes to the things that have kept you stagnant, whether it's hesitation, anxiety, or fear that's kept you from saying yes. We want to help you embrace that. So we are selecting a few of our amazing subscribers to join us. Now, here's the thing. You have to be a subscriber. So if you have not subscribed yet, now is the time to do it. Plus, you don't want to miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. So subscribe and then send your amazing Say Yes experience idea to hello@thesayyesexperience.com. I cannot wait to hear what your idea is and help you face it in one of our upcoming episodes because you might be selected. So until next time, have an amazing day and make sure that you keep saying yes. Bye-bye.